So let's move on from the two main things, urinary volume and stone and hydro, to just sort of like all the other stuff you can see. Potpourri, my favorite round of Jeopardy. So people can tell me all the different things they see in this image. I heard chocolate chip cookie because your brain is saying, well, I'm seeing the bladder and I'm seeing the thing behind the bladder that has, yeah. So instead of follicles, they are little pockets of urine within a pelvic kidney. So, you know, it's not just like the shape of the kidney that can be weird, location can be weird. And so occasionally you'll be like, what? Pelvic kidney. There's probably a weird ureter somewhere here too. If you watch here, you see a kind of tortuous tubule. I don't know exactly what cut we're in here, but that's probably a tortuous ureter. And there's probably a touch of free fluid down here also.
Two? Or this one? There's one that comes in now.
This one?
And then that.
I don't think that is. Whoa.
Is that one for sure?
I think it's probably all bowel.
Oh, yeah?
I think so. I kind of see what you mean, but I don't think it's a kidney. This one's a bunch of garbage unless I give you one useful piece of information. This is a left upper quadrant fast style flank scan.
Left upper quadrant? Like, so that's like that's a big, huge, like, hydro, you see?
That's a good idea. It's just a giant renal cyst. Simple, giant renal cyst. I think you may be able to see it, a little rim of kidney in one of these shots. Yeah, here. So that's a little rim of kidney there. And it's all just giant cysts. So like, again, broadly scan often, and you'll get this little collection of like, oh yeah, giant cyst, came from somewhere. You know, came from the liver, came from the spleen, I had a spen. You get this collection of weird one-offs, and that was just like a kid where they have a bit of flank pain, and when they register at triage, they say, oh, he has a renal cyst. And you know, you're being the attending, you're trying to be fast. Like, okay, he's got a renal cyst. Those are usually like a centimeter to 2 centimeter. They're insignificant. I don't care. I don't necessarily believe that's a cause of his flank pain. Maybe he has a hydro. I'll go scan and see if he has a stone. And you see that, and you're like, oh, he has a renal cyst.
What did you do with it?
Oh, I don't even remember. I think I talked to urology, who was like, yeah, this always happens to him. He's fine. What's funny?
Kidney, itself a little bit more,
Kidney?
right? And the borders between.
Okay, now people are talking about the capsule. Cool. So they're seeing this stuff, the stuff in between, right? Is it just blood? Is it free fluid?
Kidney lac.
Cool. So this is indeed a renal capsular hematoma. So you almost get the sense of positive fast just because you're able to see the kidney, you're able to see the solid organ, and you know there's junk in between. But you also get the sense that it's contained. So this is a kid, like, trauma was 24 hours prior, or long transfer down to us. By the time they got here, their blood in the capsule is congealed, so it has that hyperechoic kind of heterogeneous appearance. So just verbalize why you're pausing
Trying to look for the kidney.
and having a hard time finding it.
Yes,
Perfect.
because at the bottom there's something that
There's a something, but it's a
Active
little,
basis.
yeah, so a little crappy, not so functional looking, tiny remnant of a kidney in a 4-year-old who presents with 6 months of fatigue and 2 weeks of increasing puffiness and comes in hypertensive with a creatinine in the 200s. So what do you think their issue is? This is the same patient. Other side.
At the top, it's plastic.
Bilateral dysplastic kidneys. Kids who are born with those kinds of multicystic or just plain old dysplastic kidneys often have a period of normality, and then they outgrow their filtering capacity, and then they show up with acute on chronic renal failure. So, he's also just very hypertensive. And just as part of that cool game of putting together all the different kind of ultrasound scans you can do, this is the same patient. Anything jump out to people? It's parasternal long. It's a 4-year-old. Parasternal short. Yeah, thickened left ventricle. So he's been hypertensive for much longer than he has been puffy, likely. So his LV has been working hard for probably years, right? And has compensatory hypertrophy. 4. So seeing that degree of wall thickness in a 4-year-old is...
It looks more opponent to show that.
Yep, often more global and less isolated to the LV, but certainly this would still be commented on as mild hypertrophy. You'd be shocked at the bad, like this patient followed frequently by cardiology for hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. You put the probe on and it's like it looks like a uterus with a tiny little slit inside, this tiny little movement. It can be really impressive. Okay, cool.